Welcome to the Trades Podcast, a podcast about the business of home improvement and promoting the trades to young adults.
Yes, welcome to the Trades Podcast. I'm DJ Danny.
And I'm Jeff.
We're excited. We're going to be learning a little bit more how to just look at our emotions, our fear to be exact. Because here today on the episode, we got Ann Sommer with the fear code. Ann, how are you?
I'm great. Nice to see you, Jeff. Nice to see you, DJ Danny, and everybody listening.
Yep. We're excited. Just how we got connected through other entrepreneurial meetings and getting out there, pushing our businesses out there to everybody, and let everybody know that there's different ways to jump into different careers, but absolutely help people along the way. And that's exactly what you're doing. And so we're excited to have you here. Go ahead and introduce yourself and the fear code.
Hey, everybody. My name is Ann Sommer. It's like the season with an O, Sommer. And I've been practicing medicine as a physician assistant for almost 30 years. So I've been doing surgical services, meaning operating. About 3 years ago, I became an entrepreneur. I left full-time medicine. I work part-time now, but I see clients and businesses to work them through fear. Okay, so let's just be honest. Everybody listening doesn't call it fear. Nobody's going to say, I'm afraid. But you might be waking up at 2 a.m. with a voice that says, it's all going to go away tomorrow. Or you become your own lawyer, your own defendant in the courtroom of something you think you said that didn't go over well. And that is one of the premises of the fear code, which we're going to talk about today.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a plethora of steps and methods and approaches to the piece. But for you, when you speak to clients, what is fear?
So I created the fear code in the law of fear squared because when I left full-time medicine, DJ Danny and Jeff, I started working with clients, successful entrepreneurs, people who aren't unhappy. They are successful, but they're stuck somewhere. And I started to see this very specific pattern and started to ask myself, what if we have fear all wrong? Because why is anxiety and panic, imposter syndrome, and perfectionism so hard to eradicate? And why does it feel like they're just standards of living right now? And in medicine, I'm trained to figure out what's the source. Here's the symptoms. Anxiety, panic, imposter, perfectionism are the symptoms, the end result. So once I started to really research it and look into it, I discovered we have fear all wrong. We think fear is all one thing. It's not. It's actually two very distinct forces that enter your body at different places. But the confusion is it gives us the same symptom.
Yeah, and those all overlap. I mean, you're going to one is going to feed off the other, where you're feeling the imposter syndrome, and you're going to start saying, "Well, does that come from my anxiety? Does that come from past traumas? Does that come from however you want to source it from?" But I think it's great. One, you get to come from a clinical mindset and background to really provide this for people to really look at it from a different perspective. So,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And we don't have a methodology. We don't have a methodology for us to clearly identify what is good fear and what is bad fear, because we treat it all as one thing. And we don't know how to get rid of it. We have meditation. We have positive thinking. We have talk therapy. We have modalities, and some of them work, but there isn't one to completely delete and eradicate what I call unkind fear 2, which is everything you learned after birth, versus kind fear 1, which is born in you. It's installed in your original body when you're born, kind of like a manufacturer. You manufacture something, it has the original pieces, it's part of your nervous system.
We want to thank our sponsor. Superior Flooring Cabinet Designs is one of the landmark family-owned businesses in Encinitas. Owner Cheryl Robertson, with years of customer experience managing her family's hardware and cabinet business in North Park. Cheryl Robertson and the Superior team dive deep to learn about your project and help you find the perfect solution for your flooring and cabinetry needs. Call today at 760 436-0900 or visit www.superiorfloors.com.
What is a couple of examples of that, Ann?
Yeah. So when it comes to fear, I want everybody to just think about what's your definition of fear right now? And it probably is one thing. As kids, we say, well, if you're afraid, step aside and let somebody else go. And as adults, we say, well, just push through it, like be fearless. So we're already given confusing phrases and instructions while we grow up. Now we get to this point and we feel scared, but we don't want to say that because now we're going to be judged. Then there's society. We don't want to be unsuccessful. And then we have the secret self-blame, shame, and punishment. So some examples. Here's my question to you too. First, kind fear one, you're born with it. It's your nervous system's direction is your protection. The perfect example is, have you ever gotten that shoulder, like that creeper feeling that said, don't go down that alley, don't sign that contract, get out of this car? Have you, both of you ever felt that?
Yeah, where
Yes.
you're like in
Yeah.
fight or flight in a sense.
Yes, but it's the physical symptom first. Now, my next question is, have you ever ignored it? Yes or no? Yes. DJ Danny's like, uh-huh. And the next question is, did you learn a bad lesson?
Yeah, most likely
Yeah.
I did.
Most likely you did. And you most likely never ignored it again. Correct? Yes. This is kind fear one. It starts with a physical symptom, always, and it directs you with the right answer, always. It's like we're born with a heart that beats. We don't think about it. We're born with lungs that breathe. We don't think about it. We're born with a nervous system that gives us direction as our protection, and then we think about it. And that's unkind fear two, which is everything you learned after birth. Kind of like the original car that you started putting additions on. Well, we can take those additions off. So that's what the fear code methodology is how do you identify those words that are running and still making decisions for you in your adult life?
Hmm. And so that kind of compares to what you would see as like, what like you said, what was born into you that's like instinct, right?
Yes. Yes.
And then the piece of what comes after is kind of like what you learn.
Yes, everything. And it comes from everywhere. It comes from what your parents were taught and they teach you. It comes from society, from religion, from where you live, from an experience. Somebody made you feel some way, said something to you. It gets stuck in our head. It's what I call the squatter, right? It lives in your head. It uses your voice. It convinces you it's you. But in the end, when I show you the 5 steps, you'll understand it's not you at all. At all. It's all really a lie. We just can't rationalize that because our 5 senses, our sight, if we can see it, smell it, taste it, touch it, hear it, it's true to us. So our 5 senses perception becomes our deception. It proves the words must be real. See, I know I'm a loser. I know this company is going to go away. I know everybody's going to know I'm a fraud. I can't handle this. When the reality is, with step 2, who are you really? And that's the next important step. Because if I asked you guys, hey, you guys, give me the top 3 qualities of who you are, what would you say?
Jeff, you want to start?
It's a
She
good
is
one.
putting us on the spot, Danny. We're not used to this.
Yeah, no. If I was gonna say top 3 things to identify myself, I like to feel the confidence. I like to feel I would label myself as you know uh, um, you know I guess conditioned. I guess in a sense, my endurance. I like you said pushing through things. I like to even though there's an obstacle in front of me, I want to push through it because I want to test my limits.
Okay.
And I guess the third one would just be fun. I like to be fun.
Okay. All right. Jeff, what about you?
I like to be giving, I think, is one of the things that interacts with everything I do, whether it's personal, family, business. I'm always trying to be helpful, be giving. That's really become, I think, an integral part of me. The other part is adventurous. I like to try new things and get out there and experience different things in life and, from food to environments, things like that.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And okay, so let's continue this experiment. Give me the top two, if you're comfortable with this. Give me the top two negative phrases that run through your head on a daily basis.
Top two would be, um, wh- wh- where am I going to find the time for this?
Okay.
And the maybe another piece would be, um, what am I doing wrong?
Okay. What about you, Jeff? Keep
I,
talking
I
a little
would
bit.
I would uh, say the same thing. Is like, you know, what am I doing right? What do I need to do different? Always questioning, the way I'm getting things done is definitely a negative feeling that I have a lot.
Which one was that, Jeff? Say that one more time. You
Um,
question yourself?
yeah, questioning the way I do things, whether I'm doing them right,
Ah,
for the right purpose. That's definitely a overhanging negative thought that hits daily.
mm, mm-hmm. And DJ Danny, yours were exactly. Give those to me one more time. I'm going to show you everybody how this works so that you can
Yeah,
start deleting fear. Okay.
absolutely. We're going to be vulnerable in these
Yes.
moments right now, everybody.
You're
Good,
doing
good
well.
So,
job.
Like I
so
set you up. Yep.
yeah. So second guessing, like same thing for myself, asking, my decision making, questioning my decision
Mhm.
making.
Yeah.
And then the first one was the time. Where am I going to find the time for this?
Good. Okay. Now, I want you each to give me um, decisions. All right. Give me one to two things that you did in your life that you're proud of, and they occurred only because you made it happen.
School, finishing school,
Okay.
like
College, high
yeah, college.
school, college. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. One more.
Um, starting my own business.
Business. Okay. What about you, Mr. Jeff?
I think one of the things I look back on my career is I helped provide the opportunity for other people to make life changes, whether employees or fellow um, workers,
Okay.
jobs.
How did
Uh,
you do that specifically? Did you set up a fund? Did you give them, how did you do
encouragement,
it?
encouragement,
Encouragement. Okay.
example, second chances, with boundaries.
Okay. All right. Give me one more.
I think my family relationship. I've got a great wife and two great sons, and it's a great little family unit
Okay.
that's all back here in Tennessee now, so it's gotten even better.
That's very good. Okay. So I want you guys to dig a little bit deeper, and it doesn't have to be a big thing. My biggest hint to you about the one thing that you did that you're proud of, your family usually will not give you credit for.
Can't argue with that.
So, is there something that you did, overcame, quit that you're really proud of that your family won't give you credit for?
um, something that we personally quit that our family won't give us credit for, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, man, that's a tough one. Okay. Jeff, if you find something, go ahead, shout it out because I have to think about
Um,
this a little bit.
so pre-kids, relationships, changed my lifestyle. I don't think they really understand the
Mm.
extent of that
What
transformation.
What did you give up?
A lifestyle that probably wasn't the norm for most people in society.
Okay. All right. Got it. Changed your lifestyle. That's big. Got it. All right. What about you, Danny?
I think it was I think it was letting go of relationships that were that that didn't that didn't do me well. That wasn't helping me out in the time in my life. And I think I considered some friends and family as family, so that's where it kind of bleeds into that piece where I think they didn't understand where I was coming from, but I didn't expect them to.
Hmm. Right, right. That's a big one. Letting go of past relationships, especially as you grow as a person and an entrepreneur or an employee, is did you feel like, and I think a lot of us feel this way, is we want to bring everybody with us. We're like, come on, this is gonna be great. And the more success you have, the more they're either pulling you down because they're uncomfortable, they're not being vicious, or you're reaching up and trying to grow. And you can only carry so much weight for so long. And that hand is going to eventually slip. And that's hard. That's really hard for a lot of people, don't
Mhm.
you think?
Yeah, still some effect, but
Mhm.
I think as I grew, understanding it a little bit more and kind of, not in a sense being selfish, but absolutely understanding what my goals are and how to get there.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay, so we're going to go back to DJ Danny. You said that you really question, are you making the right decision? So, right? So tell me, who made you feel that way first?
Parents,
Both of them?
dad.
Dad. Okay. And then do you have time for this? Who made you question time, or time was not to be wasted?
Um, I think that had a lot to do with, I think I don't know if it's common, but myself. I think that was something that in my mind, um, I always had to do something. I always had to be constantly doing something. One, to keep myself busy. I never been diagnosed, but maybe it could be a piece of ADHD and whatnot. But
Thank you.
definitely,
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you for saying that. I want everybody to listen up because DJ Danny has the answer wrong. 100% wrong. 100% everybody that I work with eventually says me. But here's the thing, it can't be you. You were not born with these words. So somebody made you feel like you're a time waster, or time is not to be wasted, or hurry up and make that decision. Are you making the right decision? So if you really think back, there was either somebody who was always in a rush and time was not to be wasted. Like, who is that person in your life, or where did it come from?
That probably was dad as well.
Yeah, probably. Does that make sense? See how the difference is? Because think about babies. If babies are all born and they're all in their little cubbies, do babies worry about if they're being judged by other babies? No. I mean, it's
Yep.
almost ridiculous, right? But as we grow up, we start to sit in with other people and worry, are we being judged by them? These are all words that were given to you. All right. Okay, Mr. Jeff, you do question yourself also, correct?
Yes.
All right. Who made you question yourself first? The very first person. They either told you you were wrong, or are you sure, or didn't listen to you?
The specific person I think is going to be really hard to identify, but in general, I think it was family growing up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Too many step brothers and sisters and parents.
Too many people in the kitchen, too many cooks in the kitchen. All right. And then you also question like the way you do things.
Whether I'm making the right decision to do things, yes.
Okay. So who made you either question yourself or made you feel that way first?
That's a tough one. I don't know that I can answer that.
Okay. Well, let's
It's probably gonna go back to family.
family
Yeah,
check.
growing up, there was a really mixed bag of siblings and circumstances, and
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
rebelled.
Yeah. 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 For sure. For sure. Okay. So now we have the two fears, right? We've identified that kind fear one you're born with. It's your nervous system's direction. It's intuitive fear. It's biological fear. It's instinct. It's when the saber-toothed tiger was chasing down our ancestors how many years ago, and their pupils dilated, blood got in their legs, and they survived. It's the only reason we're all sitting here is because the system worked, right? But as we go through life, we start to hand fear or words our calendar, our email link, and our body identifies it as that same response where our heart starts to panic. Our brain tells us, you're going to get fired. You just got an email from the boss that says we need to talk. Right there, everybody panics because you think like, oh my gosh, that's it. This is the day. This is the day I lose it all. Right? So any words in our head that sound like us have been given to us through an experience, through a way we were told, a way we were made to feel. Okay. As proven, Mr. DJ, your dad made you question decisions. He made time of the essence. And as a side note, I grew up farming, dairy farming, with two German parents, guys. So time was not to be wasted. If we laid in bed too long, my mom would say, get out of bed, people die in bed. If we were sitting on the couch, she would say, it's a sin to sit on that couch. You find something to do. And that meant even if there wasn't chores or work, get outside and play. So when you grow up with that, now as adults, that's right there. It's inherited the way you were trained, correct? However, they're not your words. They're not your words. So dad in his decisions and his time, DJ, we're giving those back to dad. They're not your words. And Jeff, questioning yourself and the way you do things are your family's words. They're not your words. And the proof goes into what you guys told me. Jeff, you changed your lifestyle significantly. That means that you had to let go of certain relationships, of certain habits, of certain thought processes that came with you through your life, through inherited habits, through generations. And even that, you told me you're very encouraging. You've had a very successful career and now a very successful podcast, and that relationships are really your top value, and you like to have adventure. Am I right? Correct. And then DJ Danny, you went to college. Were you one of the first ones in your family to go to college? Yeah. And so that means, and tells me, you didn't have people leading you. You didn't have somebody saying, hey, this is how you apply. This is how you make money. This is how you pay for it. So that means you were the first one. Also, you started a business. So you probably went from an employee to an entrepreneur. Did you go to college for business?
I did.
So you were able to know somewhere in your past that you had an entrepreneur spirit, that you were adventurous, that you were intelligent enough to go to college, first one in the family, run a business, which maybe there weren't probably a lot of entrepreneurs in your family. Is that correct?
Not in my immediate family, no.
Yeah. And then you also, like Jeff, had to grow and let go of a lot of relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else I'm missing?
No, I think that's everything we mentioned. Yeah.
All right. Perfect. So what we're going to do now is I want you to think about it like this. Would you ever go into each other's closet and wear each other's clothes without asking? Don't say
No.
yes. Okay, good.
No.
I was going to say, now we're going to have to discuss something even bigger if you both were like, well, yeah, Ann, you do that all the time. Listeners, they said no, that's good.
I
Same
had
thing with
to I had to take a second to understand if that was the question you were really asking.
You're like, yeah, this is a tradesman's podcast. But the same thing with your car, right? You wouldn't just go in the parking lot, grab somebody's keys without asking them their permission. Am I correct?
Right.
Right? So then why is it okay to use words that came from somebody else and are landed in your head, mucking up your self-trust. It's the same series of events. From this day forward, neither of you have permission to use these words anymore. We've identified them as family and dad. And that means your family and your dad got them from somebody else. So we're just giving them back. But this is who you've proven to be. And I just met you guys, right? Mr. Jeff, you have proven to be growing up in probably a chaotic upbringing with a lot of extra family members. You said some steps, some siblings, this and that. And you said you've changed your lifestyle, which tells me, just from my career and what I do, that there was a big gap of where you could be to where you are today. And in the magic of that, you had to make a decision. And the biggest gift and adventure of life is making a decision. And I'll explain that later if we have time. But to change that much and then to promote relationships and people and encouragement tells me that you're not just adventurous and an encouraging person. You're a highly intelligent, very worthy. You hold worth in others. You understand sacrifice. I think that's your biggest gift in life, is you understand sacrifice. You understand the sacrifice of where you were to where you are, maybe struggle with it, but you also find yourself very worthy. And that is the passing on and sharing the encouragement. So from this day forward, Mr. Jeff, when I say or somebody says, tell me about yourself, I'm intelligent, I see the worth in others, I appreciate the sacrifice, and I give with encouragement. Do you agree?
I do. This
Mhm.
this is I don't know, very revealing.
Yes. Now, let me ask you this before I hit up on Mr. DJ Danny. Have you ever experienced anything like this before? Right. And that's the beauty of the invention of the fear code and the law of fear square. And I've just been privileged enough to understand what it was like to be a very shy, withdrawn, quiet kid. And at 16, make a decision, I'm not going to be that anymore. And that was when there wasn't the internet, there wasn't computers, there was nothing. But what I had was my observation skills. I was a quiet kid. I mean, I sat in the corner. If you said my name, I would turn bright red. I would be like, don't look at me, don't talk to me. But at 16, something happened, and I thought, I'm not going to be shy anymore. I'm going to figure out how to be unshy. So I watched people like I always did. But this time I really started to study, like, how do they position themselves? How do they talk? What do they do with their hands? This kind of stuff. And then I would put it into practice. But negative feedback became my interpretation of, was I right or was I wrong? Because I remember having this conversation in high school and I thought I was being so cute, like a little smile and laughing. And my buddy said, why are you so mad? And I was like, gosh, what I'm perceiving is not what he's receiving. So then I had to go home and be like, oh, I thought this face was cute in the mirror. And I was like, oh no, I look pissed off. I look really pissed off. So then I had to practice and feel like, what does a smile feel like? Because I obviously did not know. And so now, you guys, I've become an overcorrected, outgoing adult. But I put myself in those situations. I remember forcing myself to go to eat in a restaurant alone at 17. And the first time hearing like my unkind fear in my head screaming, you're a loser, you look stupid, people are judging you. And my inside, you're saying like, you're fine. This isn't going to kill you. Prove to yourself you're not going to die. Just eat the food and get out. And then I would make myself go to a movie and do the same thing. I don't remember the movie. I just remember kind of the panic attack. But he did it. And that's what you guys have done. in a different form, right? So Mr. DJ Danny, going to college as the first person, look, he's like, oh God, what? And then starting a business, letting go of relationships tells me that you have a determination and a diligence of self strength in the sense of just because they didn't doesn't mean I can't. Not only will I, but I'll just figure it out. I'll just figure it out. And you probably tried to take everybody with you because you have a big heart. And I get the sense anyway that your community is tight. Like you take people in immediately or you used to. And through that, you've probably gotten burned or backstabbed. And you had to learn probably some really, really hard lessons. And so now you have this open gate of people have to prove to you to get into your circle. And you're okay with that. Is that you have almost a really thick wall of boundaries and borders, but that makes you stronger. And that makes you more successful in a way of like you're almost that pillar. Like you're the pillar of truth. And people come to you with a problem and you're like, what's the solution? And you work them through that. Because when you do what you've done, you're the pioneer. You're the pioneer of I can, I showed you, and now you can do it too. So I think that's your purpose in life is just because you can't doesn't mean I won't. And because I did, I know you can. And you lead people up that ladder. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds great.
Yeah. So that's who you guys are. And this is the other part I want everybody to hear is not only do we not know how to identify our true fears, we don't know how to identify ourselves. When I asked you, you're like, I want to be, I like. You both said, well, I like to be encouraged. I like to be fun. I like to be adventurous. But everybody can be adventurous and fun, right? But Jeff you understand sacrifice. That's your purpose. That's why you're here, is to show people, look, this is how I did it. This is how you do it. It's actually really fun. Life is pretty fun. DJ Danny is here because he's the pioneer saying, yeah, you might have come from here, but just because they didn't doesn't mean you can't. And I did it. And I say I'm the sand maker is I go and I help people build their island, build their perfect island, understand you get to make it any way you want. I can help you see it, vision it. We can build it. And that's the truth of the life. And also, I'm going first so that you don't have to go alone. I say that a lot too. And then there's several more steps because now we have to seal the back door, which is just one more step of how do you make sure they don't come back, all the words, building your non-negotiables and boundaries. And I do that with you about likes and dislikes in a different way than you've been taught probably in the past. And then you're now next day. Like here is where you are. You know who you are and where are we going?
Hmm.
What do you guys think?
Wow.
I love your faces.
We're stale faced right now. I mean, I don't think we know how to move on. It's like I think we're internalizing a lot of those previous thoughts. Is like, well, if I would have known this earlier, what would I have done, or what could have been different? But now that we do, I think it's like Jeff said, it's a kind of a revealing and an eye opener of things and scenarios and interactions that could have gone better, or something that might still affect us, but like you said, not bringing other people's words into our thoughts and realities.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
trust me, I mean, I think even though we're doing this right now, tomorrow it's probably going to happen.
Right. Yes. And so I tell people, when we go through the whole list and really identify, and this is really important, you guys, for everybody listening, is what you said, Danny, is every week I see people to walk them through these steps because different emotions pop up. I've had clients who are pissed off, like pissed off, anger hits. And they're like, I can't believe I've been letting somebody else run my life. I can't believe it. And it's like, okay, but let's talk about why. Why did you have to experience what you experienced? Well, I believe that this is what I say. If I wasn't who I was, I wouldn't be who I am. And I wouldn't be able to help you in the only way that I can. I can't help you the way Jeff can help people. And I can't help the way DJ Danny helps people. And you guys can't help people the way I help people. And that's the beauty and the adventure of the experiences. But I see so many people stuck that I just really now that I've proven this methodology, want to give it to everybody and say, oh my God, you guys, everybody, this is how we do it. This is the secret code. We got fear all wrong. And here's the 5 steps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And hopefully, I mean, we hope not to get it wrong. That's the whole thing.
You won't.
Yeah.
You won't. You just have to think those aren't my words. So when
Yeah.
when those come through to your head, you really have to isolate them and say, huh, like where, when did this come from? Who was that person? What was that experience? What was that group? And then really think about what is something I did that I'm proud of, even a small thing. And then think like, well, what characteristic did it take? If Ann did that, I would tell her, wow, you're really determined. You must have a lot of love for yourself. You must, whatever that is, right? And so then you think, wait a minute, that's who I really am. That's who you really are. And you just proved it to yourself. And everything else is a lie. So you just give it back.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, there's 3 more steps. And then you're going to live bulletproof, you guys. That's the beautiful part is words no longer even come close to your skin or your head. Once you understand how to seal the door, how to make a non-negotiable, how to make a boundary, then who that HE double hockey sticks hears what anybody said about you. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Right now it
Yeah.
matters, right? It matters a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think this is super insightful. I mean, you know, when people are going to listen to this, one, they're going to learn a little bit more about us. But on the other side, if they can just hone in on just spending this time, you know, I think earlier, like I mentioned it, you know, like where am I going to find the time to learn more about myself? Where am I like I don't have time for this, you know, or those are the usual things that come up in my mind. But I think it's key for people to have to put this time aside for themselves because it's going to do different it's going to work in different ways for everybody, but I think it's more of a positive thing to find out rather than something to point the finger at and blame.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think that's key. But I do have a question for you, Ann, because you asked us quite a few questions. Now it's our turn. Uh, but what is one question someone hasn't asked you yet, and that you would, you know, definitely, you know, whether it's pertaining to the fear code, pertaining to, you know, past life experiences, but what would be something that someone hasn't asked you but you've been aching to talk about?
Ooh, DJ Danny just dropped a mic. Holy moly. What is one question I'm aching to discuss? Holy dude. I think something that bewilders me is, you know, I've been a physician assistant medical provider for 30 years. And it still knocks me off my feet when people are like, what's a PA? You're not a doctor. Yeah, you're right. I'm not right? And I get asked a lot, why didn't you go to medical school from medical people? And I say this because it would have been too easy, meaning nobody would have questioned me if I was a doctor. You see doctors and you don't like one doctor, you go to another doctor. You go to a PA you don't like, you wipe out the whole career. So I said I was handed a machete and sent into the jungle and told, make a path for physician assistants, and all the trees are doctors. And that really is my life, is make a path. But I'm going to send you into the impossible territory. But the good thing is I am really good at cutting down those trees, I think.
Amen. Awesome.
Mhm. Yeah.
That
Did I
that's
answer
great.
your question? That was a
That's
great question.
absolutely, absolutely. I
Uh,
think that speaks to a lot of people, because that can fall into a lot of different industries. And when you see obstacles or just looking at a different perspective of, you truly knew what you wanted that to look like for yourself. And I think that only comes down to the individual and how they make that decision and how they want to move forward. So thank you for
yeah.
sharing. Love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. No, and thank you
Thank
for sharing the fear code. I mean, that was just the tip of the iceberg, so I'm sure there's a lot more. So I mean, I think this is super valuable for people to hear, to listen to. And one, you're not going to understand it until you actually go through it, because what our thoughts and our things that we feel, you're going to feel something a little bit different. So and I mean, just shout out yourself. How do people reach out to you? How do they get more
Yes.
information?
Yeah.
Everything. Throw it all out there.
Okay. So again, my name is Ann, Ann Sommer, Sommer. My website is my name, AnnSummer.com, com. Just a warning, it is being renovated right now, should be done in a week. Come back, because I have a book that I'll be publishing here very shortly called The F Word You Weren't Taught. Turn fear into fuel. And I've made
I love
sure.
it.
Do you love it, Jeff? Just laughing. Yeah, the F
No,
word
yeah.
you weren't taught. And it really explains in detail what is fear, why do we have it wrong, how to, and to prove like it is two forces, and it walks you through the whole program. And I made an accompanied workbook so you can write everything in it. And then I work with clients, I work with groups, and I work with one-on-one individuals and companies. So I'll give you my email, which is all small capitals. It's SE Solutions, SESOLUTIONS 100 at gmail.com. And just email me and let me know how I can help you out.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Anne, for jumping on and just again giving us a little bit more insight. And we're excited to share this out to everybody. So, like she said, go visit the website. It's getting revamped. Look out for her new book that she's putting out there, and we'll get all the information out to everybody as well. So, thank you again, everybody. This is the Trades Podcast. Make sure to share this with everybody that you think may benefit from this, and that practically, I'm sure, means everybody. So send it to everybody. So
Yeah.
thank you, Anne. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, you guys. This was so much fun. You're wonderful, and thanks for pushing out the trades. We need
Yes.
people in the trade,
Yep.
100%. And there's nothing better than using your mind and your hands to create something amazing for everybody. Thank you.
Yep. And it helps overcoming that fear to do a better job. So thank you
100.
again, and we'll see everybody next time.